Welcome to Hash's Numbers. I'm Thomas. I'm here, my co-host,
Justin Kim.
and the NFL season is officially over. The Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champs, so I got a little something to commemorate it. Um, as you know, I'm a Seahawks fan, so one of the best seasons of my life culminated in Seahawks being Super Bowl champions. Justin, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy that Seattle was able to win just because, I get to win this uh team a team that, I live, which Seattle is a very good memory and hopefully they could win it one in the future again. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I just think. No, it's pretty good, pretty fun NFL season. I think a lot of shockers this season. But before we get into like the full season recap, what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl, just like the game itself, how everything turned out?
I mean, yeah, the Patriots hate is gonna continue, just because I told you that, they had a very easy schedule where, the playoffs, I already mentioned it, but let's start off with the AFC Championship. They almost lost to Team Brown to the Denver, where they had no QB, despite, it snowed heavily, but even before that, Drake May was getting pressured a lot, like this game against Seattle, where it was able to show out, but as you can see, 295 yards. Most of that came from fourth quarter, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, and the big part of their offense, Ramondre Stevenson, he was shut it down to 23 yards. So a huge credit to the Seahawks D line, which was very hot this season. And talking about the Seahawks offense, Sam Darnold play a point guard role where this playoff he had no turnover at all, which was very helpful. K9 was able to go off this play postseason for 135 yards and a touchdown that kind of got robbed, in my opinion. And yeah, shout out to the White House as well. Cooper Cup, Shaheed, and Jason.
Yeah. I'm just gonna talk about the game first. The Seahawks D-line really kind of implemented their will. There's really no rushing attack for the Patriots. Drake May was the leading rusher, but for most of that game, it was really no space to run. Um, like you kind of mentioned, Drake May, he finished with a pretty decent line, 295, two touchdowns, right? But like all of it, the two touchdowns were in the fourth quarter. And just as a whole in this game, right? It was a pretty slow game. Started off 3 points in the first quarter, 6 points in the second quarter, 3 points in the third quarter. So, we had 12 points through the first three quarters. But then in the fourth quarter, right, both teams' offenses kind of exploded a little bit for 30 total points. For bettors out there, that almost hit the over of 45 and a half, but at the end of the day, just squeaked under at 42 points total. Um, in the Super Bowl, we're going to go through our props in a sec, but big shout out to K9, Kenneth Walker, for keeping the Seahawks offense, at least giving them points, right? You could see with the Patriots with no running game, when Drake May started to struggle, started to be off target a little bit, there was really nowhere to go. But with the Seahawks, when Sam Darnold wasn't clicking, he didn't have his best game, right? He kept the ball, he didn't turn it over, and Kenneth Walker was able to get some big explosive plays, get him in field goal range, and at least, keep some score up before the fourth quarter where both teams kind of exploded out, figured it out, but a little too late for both teams. Or I guess for the Patriots, a little too late, but for the Seahawks also like they didn't need to have big offensive explosion like the Rams NFC Championship game. Um, Drake May, narrative's not going to be great. He did not have a great postseason, and it did continue in this game. Took 6 sacks, could have been a 7 sack, but they ruled that interception by Uchenna Nwosu. Shout out Devin Witherspoon for being all over. Mike McDonald calling very, very well-timed blitzes that really pressured Drake May, so that when blitzes weren't coming, Drake May looked like he was flustered. Some off-target throws looked like he was scared of the pressure. Um, in this game, anything you notice just like as a whole for like the season, just kind of like, hey, some narratives have changed. I know you mentioned Sam Darnold not turning the ball over in the postseason, despite leading the league in turnovers during the regular season. Um, anything about like Drake May, right? Like he was one of the better passers in the regular season, just did not have it in the postseason. Anything else just around both sides, real quick, that you want to get to?
Yeah, I mean, as part of this game, I feel like, Jason Myers kind of got robbed, just
Hmm.
because he has 17 points, which is more than the Patriots and like half of the Seahawks point.
Hmm.
And Bad Bunny, shout out Bad Bunny. That
Yeah,
halftime was very lit. I do not understand Spanish that much, but yeah, it was a very good halftime show.
yeah, we can get to it. How did you think? Do you like the halftime show? First one for a non-English speaking performer. There was mixed thoughts. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I heard that this was like one of the most watched or Super Bowl halftimes. So,
Hmm.
there you go. That proves itself. The first song, the I don't know how to say it properly. Titi Me Pregunto. That's one of my favorite songs from him.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a very good song by him.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it was really good performance just like for non like just like people who are enjoy music. I think it was a really good message, right? We've had some good messages over the last couple of years with, Kendrick Lamar um and then with Bad Bunny this year. Um, do you know how many songs he performed? I'm looking it up right now. It says 11 to 13. Um, yeah, I
I
don't.
did not know. Let me
Okay.
search it up.
Hmm.
Where are you looking it up?
I just looked it up on Google.
Bad Bunny performance. He performed like searching 12 through 14 essays.
Okay. Um,
13. 13.
13? Okay. So we'll go through the prop bets that we had just to kind of wrap up our Super Bowl talk.
Mhm.
The coin toss ended up being heads, so I won that one. The national anthem, right? You had under 119.5 seconds. I had over. It went under, so you got
And I actually
that.
went over.
It went under.
So I won, right?
Yeah, so you got
Yeah,
that one.
shout out Charlie Puth, one of my favorite American singer.
Hmm. The Gatorade color was yellow, so neither of us got that one.
Yeah.
The jersey number of the first touchdown score was 88 with AJ
AJ
Barner,
Barner.
so
Yeah.
I got that one. Total players that throw a pass. I don't believe any other player threw a pass other than the two quarterbacks, so I got that one. And since neither team had someone else throw a pass, the quarterbacks did not have a reception. Kickoff return for a touchdown did not happen. So Justin now on a four-game losing streak. The fastest ball carrier, I gotta look this one up. Um, but from what I'm looking, Kenneth Walker could have been. You had Kenneth Walker, right?
Yeah.
It was Kenneth Walker with 19.53, so it was a good call there. Um, Longest play from scrimmage. Who did you have on that one? You had
Shahid
Shahid. So we both had Seahawks on that one. The longest play from scrimmage, I believe, was a Patriots pass.
Matt Collins, I
Matt
think.
Collins on a 35-yard pass. So
Hmm.
neither of us had that one. Um, the first song at halftime was Titi Mi Pregunto, I believe.
Yeah.
So you got that one.
Hmm.
Guest appearances. This one's iffy because Cardi B did not perform, but she was there. So I don't really know if we count that one as my win, but Jennifer Lopez did not appear, so you don't get that one. And then I'll give you the songs. You said 13 songs, so that's over. So how many did you get? You
Yeah,
got four?
I think so.
One, two. You got three of them. No, four of them.
Three?
Four of them. Four of them.
Four? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you got
okay.
total songs, first song. You got fastest ball carrier, and then you got national anthem. I got, I think I got seven or six and a half. Cardi B's the questionable one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of wraps it up. Um, Now we'll do a quick recap on the season. So let's go first with your actually we'll go first with our predictions. We kind of we did a bad job, going week to week on what our predictions were, recapping it. But I believe against the spread, I want to say I did better than you. We did do a straight up one that you beat me in, right?
Hmm.
But against the spread, let's see. I finished 138 and 118, positive record. You finished 135 and 121, so just behind me there.
Hmm.
Think that's pretty good for us, I think as a whole.
Yeah, yeah. Very good.
I'm pretty happy with that. But I was like, shout out to you for the straight up picks. You won our pool with us and our fantasy league, and a bunch of our friends. So I'll give you a shout out on that. As a season, anything that you want to go back on that you want to do a little victory lap on, just stuff that you think you called early in the year. I know we said last year I was going to go through some film. Um, Now that we have some more time, anything that you called, I know you got some of the stuff that I'll bring up later, but go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the Bears being in the playoff.
hmm
Yeah, that was one of them, and Broncos winning the division.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, you were high on the Jaguars. I was high on the Patriots. So I'm gonna do a victory lap on that. I didn't think the Patriots were gonna make the Super Bowl, but I did like their schedule this year. I thought they had a chance to do well, especially with the money they spent. So I'll do a little victory lap there. I definitely was a Bears non-believer this year. I definitely think Ben Johnson took me by surprise. Definitely overperformed what I thought would happen. Um, and then I was definitely wrong on the Lions. I thought the Lions were going to be the best team in the NFL this year, getting healthier on defense, and they just were not that.
I mean, they lost a lot of players on defense,
hmm
so yeah.
Still dealt with injuries, but even before that, they lost early games that I don't think they should have, even when they were healthier. But
I mean,
um,
they had like no cornerbacks for like no safety from what I remember.
but that was like later in the year, right? When Brian Branch got out and um, like around Thanksgiving time. They lost week one, and I think they were pretty healthy week one.
Yeah. Hmm.
What were your favorite moments from this year?
My favorite moment was probably the Caleb Williams to DJ Morris, the
Mhm.
Iceman. Yeah, that was a very good memory.
Yeah. I think some of the most memorable ones for me, obviously as a Seahawks fan, beating the Rams in overtime.
Okay.
The only team to win on a 2-point conversion, right?
Hmm.
That was pretty interesting. That was pretty cool for me. Definitely Caleb to DJ Moore. Um, I think, just not really a favorite memory, but a big memory of mine. I remember, where I was when Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott, got ejected for the first game. That was kind of like, oh, okay, football season's here, right? And now football season's over. The off seasons are coming up.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, any other big events from the season that you think you'll remember for a while?
Yeah, I mean, you said the Seattle Seahawks against the Rams
hmm
when they were down 16. I was there for that game, so yeah, that game was very fun, not gonna lie.
hmm
Hmm.
Um, anything from like a player perspective, like Jason had his breakout season. Some people were on that, some people weren't, but I think it was really fun to watch. Right, he wasn't a guy coming to the you predict to have this to lead the league in receiving. Right.
Yeah.
Any other players that like Myles Garrett breaking the sack record? I think that was one you could see happening, but it's just cool that it happened.
Hmm. Do you have any?
Like for players,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor early in the year, that was a really cool one. I mean, he had his breakout year earlier in the 2020s. I think it was 2021, and he was the number one fantasy back. But then this year, you could see he was in MVP talks. No player was really emerging out of that. So that was one where I was like, yeah, Jonathan Taylor was having a great run, a bunch of 3 touchdown games. It helped that I had him in fantasy. James Cook leading the league in rushing, right? That was a pretty cool breakout. I didn't think that was going to happen. Christian McCaffrey having a resurgent season after the injuries from last year. That's a pretty fun one for me. Matthew Stafford, I remember when he had back issues during the preseason. This is when we were debating doing the podcast or not, and that was a big storyline. Matthew Stafford coming in with a back injury. Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be able to, do what he does? And he was. And then yeah, JSN, as a Seahawks fan, I love to see it, but I was a big JSN believer starting from when he was in college. His sophomore year, I really trusted him. I liked him. I was kind of sad that he didn't get to play his junior year. And then landing in Seattle, having a iffy rookie season and then breaking out last year and then really exploding this year. Those are some guys that I think deserve shout outs and were some cool stories.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with defense first. Uh, I was gonna say INT. I didn't see Nashaw Wright being this,
hmm
elite cornerback from what she was this year, and Kevin Byard. Then on quarterback wise, I did not expect Drake May to like go off this season as much as he did, and yeah,
hmm
and like I'll say like bunch of Jig May class. Wait, what class was he in?
The 2024 one with Caleb, Jaden
Yeah,
Daniels. Yeah.
yeah, the 2024 QBs, they really went off. There was three QBs, and top 10 for yards was Bo Nix, Caleb, and Jig May, was kind of surprised me a little, but yeah.
hmm yeah, so that wraps up the season. In the following 2 weeks, we're gonna do off-season previews. We're gonna start this weekend with the AFC off-season preview. We're just gonna, do quick briefs on the teams. And then for bigger articles, we're gonna be doing some article projects. You can catch them at TL Sports Media. Justin's been doing a lot of prediction pieces on there during the season, and in the off-season, we're gonna get a lot more variety of sports, but also a lot of football content. I'm gonna be working on some bigger projects with him as well. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some off-season previews starting next week. We're gonna do the AFC next week, NFC the week after that, and then we're gonna have our free agency preview stuff, and then we'll be into draft season. But this week we're gonna have the combine starting in next week, and then free agency will be starting soon. It's gonna be a fun off season. Both of our teams are gonna have interesting off season decisions. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But hope to catch you guys in the next one where we do our previews. Peace.
Peace.